Hey everybody, welcome back to another Sacred Femme Alchemy podcast episode for the Shakti Soul Sessions series. And I am very exhausted today. I did not have a good sleep at all, and it's because yesterday I was doing some exercises. I was exercising and I hurt my lower back. And this has been something that's been going on for at least almost 2 years now. And it's like once you hurt your back, it feels like it's just never the same, or it keeps on getting re-injured. And I haven't hurt my back since the summer, so it's been 5 months, and I'm slowly moving on throughout my day. I woke up because I was in pain. It wasn't as bad as yesterday when I pulled it, but today I just woke up super achy. And this morning in my practice for sadhana, I decided to focus the intention of the class on recognizing our relationship with the pain body. Although mine is physical right now, and Eckhart Tolle, he talks about it from an emotional sense. It made me think about ultimately what we're doing here. And today is day 39 of our 40-day sadhana practice. And so we are actually completing it. We're rounding out. We're finishing a cycle. And it's beautiful to see how every day we've shown up. But sometimes what happens is, we have these obstructions, we have these beliefs, and we have these blocks that stem from our pain body. Our pain body is the trauma body. It's our trauma mind. It's projection of negative thoughts, negative belief systems, old narratives, conditioning from society, from family, from whomever you interacted with when you were younger. And it's just these belief systems that also keep you ultimately safe and small in your space, so you don't experience any type of discomfort. So although they do in a way protect you, sometimes it's not necessarily for our own good, because we don't grow, we don't expand. And yesterday I was doing, self-coaching, and I'm doing this challenge in my own coaching group. And we talked about having big beliefs that we have. And I liken it to the manifestations that we're truly trying to bring into this world. And sometimes when we have these big manifestations, we have these big goals where it's like moonshot goals, and we want to believe them. But then sometimes we're thinking, is this really going to happen? Is this really going to happen? I don't know if it will. I don't know. And so you're writing out these manifestations in your journal, or using whatever manifestation techniques you're doing. And then there's that subtle disbelief that comes up. And, I used to work at a company where the CEO would just have really crazy goals for people, that it would just cause them to always be in anxiety, cause them to always feel like they needed to work super hard, hustle, because they would be on the chopping block if they didn't deliver, right? And I'm talking about the numbers that you deliver on the street and all of that stuff, and versus the internal numbers that you have to hit in that mark. And when you're thinking, oh my gosh, like that is a stretch goal, I don't know if I can do it, and there is no option, and you start to it doesn't become fun. It doesn't become pleasurable. It doesn't become joyful trying to hit those marks. And so I'm a believer of, you don't have to have super big stretch goals. You can just have, I learned yesterday, it was those bridge goals. It's like what we talk about in other, communities, bridge jobs. It's kind of like the person you date before you marry, right? The person you practice with. So you kind of find your sea legs. You kind of understand what you're doing. And so, maybe you're manifesting right now and you're thinking, okay, well, we'll use money, for example. I want to make 50K months. And you're thinking, I don't even make 1,000. How the hell am I going to get there? And that's like a future dream. That's probably 10 years from now, or, 20 years from now, or whatever. And so it's perfectly fine to give yourself permission to say, okay, maybe I just shoot for 3,000 or 5,000 right now, but I know ultimately that's where I want to be. That's the vision that I'm leaning towards. And so how can you also view your manifestations as visions of where you're going towards? And how can you in the current moment take aligned action for that vision to come true? It doesn't have to be that big. And it's just kind of like that oh, go big or go home, like bro mentality. No, like it's okay to work with your nervous system. It's okay to say, I don't want to have a stretch goal. I just want this. And when I see I can do that, I know I can reach for more. I know I can reach for bigger. And that's totally fine. But, you know, when we have those disbeliefs, it really comes and it stems from our pain body. And so when you're looking and when these things come up, because they will come up, it is inevitable. We're not going to be kumbaya like all the time just because we meditate and we have some sort of spiritual practice. We're human beings and we don't get to choose our thoughts. We just get to choose which one we act towards. We get to have different thoughts. And so I really want you to be cautious of thinking, okay, what is my relationship to my blocks when they come up? And it reminds me of a time when I took this class. It was about light body activation. And in the simplest terms, it's about learning to connect and ascend, not necessarily a physical form, but learning to have purity of mind and thought so that you can, you know, transcend in a way. Very simple. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not an expert at that, nor do I claim to be, but I was just really into meditation at the time and learning about all of these quantum practices and yes, things that are far above like advanced. And one of the modules that we went through was the physical body and pain. And the instructor, her lesson in this lifetime was learning how to navigate the pain that she felt in her physical body and trying to overcome that and just notice that the pain isn't necessarily pain, but a sensation. It's only my identification with that feeling in my body that it's pain, that I recognize it as pain and that it is bad. And so this isn't to say that the pain that you feel or me being reductive or saying, oh, you know, just suck it up. No, if you feel something and it hurts and it's a different sensation, you can totally say that and you can call that, right? And so what I'm doing for myself today, because I have lower back pain, I am moving slower. I'm not saying, okay, bitch, we gotta go. Hurry up. We have so much to do today. You have to do this and that. No, I'm working with the energies of my body. I'm listening to my body. I'm grounding down into my body and I'm taking it slow with what it actually needs versus what I want to do, right? And that's just really putting yourself in this position where you aren't listening to yourself. And that is a form of self-abandonment. And so I'm learning to understand, okay, my body's in pain. This is a certain sensation right now. I'm feeling it more intensely. It's feeling very achy. It feels uncomfortable, but I know that I can get through it. I know I have the tools. I know what to do. I know for me, I love going to acupuncture. I'm such an acupuncture girly and I will die on the hill for all of those things. And so for me, I'm just really thinking about, okay, what can I do today to make myself feel comfortable? What can I do today to sit with this feeling knowing that it will pass? And it's just similar experience of meditation when we start to notice our thoughts, when we start to notice our triggers, but we don't attach anything to it. But how can we have this layer of not having a story around it? And, you know, this is the simplest terms of just thinking about the projections that you feel, the challenges that you feel, the triggers that you feel, and how can you learn, you know, we can choose a different thought, right? I just paused because my cat is on the fence right now. If you don't hear the crows behind me, I'm recording this outside. I just love being outside. It's super sunny in California and I just want to take advantage of it. Oh my God. Okay, but I guess I'm gonna wrap this up short. But it's really learning to understand what is your relationship to your own pain body, right? Maybe you're not in physical pain right now. Maybe you're having an emotional pain about a certain experience. And so I really want you to think about how can you learn to sit with it in the way that you sit in meditation. Where sometimes you go along with a thought, you go along the train, you're like, all right, I'm going down the rabbit hole, and then you come back to your breath and you're like, whoa, okay, I want to get off the train. I'm going to go back to my center. I'm going to go back to me. And I want you to notice that today. When you get triggered, when you get challenged, how can you have and maintain and sustain that neutral mind? knowing that it's okay to go down that little rabbit hole, knowing it's okay to spin out sometimes. And we want to look at the rate at which you come back to your center. And so I invite you today to think about your relationship to your pain body. What are the stories that are still having an influence on how you navigate the world, especially in relationships? A relationship with yourself, a relationship with the manifestations that you want in your life that are telling you that you can't do something, right? And then you start to believe it. But how can you just say, oh, that's coming up. I have doubt right now. How do I want to move past this doubt? Where does this doubt come from? And just get really curious with it rather than one of my good girlfriends, she said, instead of getting furious, get curious. But it's such a cute way to think about it, right? It's like when you're interacting with a child, you want to explore why they're upset. Maybe they come home from school really upset about something, and just learn to maybe treat yourself that way and understand, okay, why am I upset about this? Why am I challenged by this? Why do I have doubt about this? And just see for yourself, how can you come back to a place where you learn to come back to love? And it's not necessarily to say we're just going to eradicate the pain body and it's going to go away. And, a lot of people think that when they do spiritual work or when they do, personal development, that all of a sudden they're not going to be triggered anymore. I'm sorry. That's not the guarantee. The guarantee is that you're more aware of the triggers and that you know how to handle it, and that you don't go down that rabbit hole and you choose differently because of your awareness. It's if someone cheats on you and they lie about it and they want to come back to you, and you're just like, you have the awareness that they lied and they cheated. And so it's, no, I'm not going to go down that pattern. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. I can choose differently today. I don't have to be a slave to my circumstances, because I am empowered enough to know differently and choose differently for my life because I want differently. And so this radical notion of what have you actually treated your pain body, your emotional pain body, your physical, like as a friend, not the thing that's preventing you from living your life the way you want, but just as a mirror for you to actually grow and transmute anything that you're going through, so that you can have the relationships and the life that you deserve, the life that you want, the life that you're meant to live, the life that is true to you, regardless of what other people think. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I hope you all have a beautiful Friday, and I will see you all tomorrow. Sat Nam.